It only took a few steps before she moved a hand to turn the door handle and opened it, the light immediately pouring in. Being in the darkness, exposure to light made April blink a few times as she adapted to it. But even with needing to adjust to the daytime, she made sure to keep her ears focused for any sounds of movement. In front of her was a hallway, the floor covered in leaves that were blown around. It had been some time since anyone had cleaned the interior, and there wouldn't be anyone that would in the near future. Sticking her head out, April looked to either side of the door to view the hallway. Looks like it's clear, she thought to herself. Taking a moment, April carefully looked at the leaves and dirt. The leaves were scattered as usual, none of them broken. A few loose leaves tumbled as a light warm breeze flowed through the hallway. She sighed in relief at confirming that nothing had come through while she slept. A worry that April had was while she was sleeping, bandits or something else would discover that she used the current building as a shelter. Her eyes passed over the decorations, advertising some local festival that she wasn't familiar with. Based on the figures on the decorations, it seemed to be for a dance. There were men in formal dress attire and women in fancy dresses. A layer of dust and dirt covered the decorations, some portions hanging down due to the material tearing from the pins used to hold them up. The festive appearance gave off a haunting feel. April winced as her foot crunched on some of the dry leaves, stepping out from the small room that was likely used by someone in charge of cleaning the building. She forced herself to step out of the room, reminding herself that she'd have heard movement if someone was in the building. It's been ages since I've seen anyone, so I doubt things would change. April forced herself to calm down and not worry about shadows of anxiety skittering in her mind. Due to worries about catching the attention of others, not only would she talk to herself, but it would all happen in her mind. It was to such a degree of not speaking out loud that there would be moments where April would force herself to talk. Not knowing anything about medical-related topics, April had concerns that not talking would cause her to cease being able to speak. This made her sometimes speak as though in an attempt to double-check whether her body was still functioning correctly. But April would only talk in situations where she knew that it was doubtful that anything would hear her. Like in the hallway, being out and about was too exposed for her comfort. After taking a few steps, she paused out of habit to listen for any sounds. Not every location had leaves conveniently placed as a natural alarm system. However, it was still difficult not to cause some kind of noise. It just meant that she needed to work harder to spot any sounds from footsteps or clanking of objects that people typically carried. The fact that people would make sounds due to items on their person had made April stop carrying items aside from the simple clothes she wore. Due to the warm weather, it allowed April to get away with wearing shorts and a shirt. If it wasn't for the fact that it did get cold at night, and the leftover habits from civilization, she'd have just walked around completely naked. Clothes would make sounds, which is why she preferred to not wear anything. But being too cold wasn't a position she'd want to be in too. It was why she was happy to have found relatively form-fitting clothing to wear. Below her feet, the leaves crunched. Each noise made her flinch. Passing by the walls of the hallway and some doors, the surroundings soon became brighter. In front of her was a large tree that blocked a lot of the hallway. April turned her head to look outside, where the tree had destroyed what used to be the wall of the building.